1 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Abdul Rafi Suhail. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has underscored the importance of continued international support for Pakistan's plans to build back better after devastating floods. Foreign Minister has termed Loss and Damage Fund as a significant achievement to help developing countries to cope with climate-induced disasters. Pakistan Army has reiterated its resolve to fight against terrorists without any distinction and eliminate this menace as per aspirations of the people. And Russia, Turkey and Syria have agreed to work together to resolve crisis in Syria. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif held a telephonic conversation with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and invited him to international conference being co-hosted with the United Nations in Geneva on 9th of next month in the wake of the recent devastating floods in Pakistan. The Prime Minister expressed gratitude on behalf of the people and the government of Pakistan to the brotherly government of Turkey for the provision of prompt humanitarian assistance. Highlighting the daunting challenge faced by the country in terms of rehabilitation and reconstruction of the affected areas, the Prime Minister underscored the importance of continued international support and solidarity for Pakistan's plans to build back better. The two leaders also exchanged views on various bilateral matters and international issues and agreed to remain in close contact. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has said the creation of Loss and Damage Fund at the UN Climate Change Conference in Egypt last month to support the climate disasters hit countries is a significant achievement. In an interview with the Arab News, he said this fund is something that climate activists have been struggling for the last 30 years. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said the agenda of the G77 is exactly that they represent aspirations of the developing world. He said the Loss and Damage Fund is a demonstration of developing nations wielding collective strength when they have a common cause. Advisor to Prime Minister on Kashmir Affairs and Gilgit-Baltistan, Qamar Zaman Kaira, called on Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Islamabad today. They discussed matters pertaining to Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan as well as overall political situation of the country. President Dr. Arif Alvi has underscored the need of adopting environment-friendly, energy-efficient and cost-effective construction and housing practices to provide quality accommodation to the people. Addressing Second International Property Expo in Islamabad, he said real estate sector marks a significant contribution to the country's economic development. The president said government is focusing on the development of and construction housing sector as it is vital in advancing the growth and economic development and fulfilling the growing housing demands of the rising population of the country. A two-day 254th Corps Commanders Conference concluded at General Headquarters in Rawalpindi. According to the ISPR, General Syed Asim Munir, Chief of Army Staff, presided the conference. A comprehensive review of professional and organizational matters of the Army was undertaken. It was resolved to fight against terrorists without any distinction and eliminate this menace as per aspirations of the people of Pakistan. Defense ministers of Russia, Turkey and Syria have agreed to work together to resolve a crisis in Syria. In a statement, Russian Defense Ministry said three sides at a meeting in Moscow discussed ways to resolve the Syrian crisis, the problem of refugees and joint efforts to combat extremist groups in Syria. It was the first meeting of defense ministers of Turkey and Syria since the start of the war in 2001. The Turkish defense minister also termed the meeting as constructive. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has said that any provocation by North Korea must be met with retaliation despite its nuclear weapons. According to his press secretary Kim Min-hee, in a meeting in Seoul, he said we must punish and retaliate against any provocation by North Korea. 5 North Korean drones crossed into South Korea on Monday, prompting South Korea's military to scramble fighter jets to try to shoot them down. And now cricket. On the fourth day of the first cricket test against Pakistan at Karachi, New Zealand were 541 for 6 in their first innings a short while ago. Earlier, Pakistan were all out for 438 runs in their first innings. And that is all for now. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.